Hello, everybody. I'm John Locke, and I'd like to welcome you to the LockeInYourSuccess.com Trading Performance Podcast, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. Listen up and enjoy the segment. As an aspiring future pro trader, I realized that the mental game is probably 90% or more of one's success. The rest, I imagine, is divided evenly between knowledge, effort, and experience. I've noticed, though, the Trading Triangle videos that you're actually a rather emotional chap. Yeah, if you've seen the Trading Triangle, you can see a little bit about how my personality really is. However, you seem completely emotionally detached from your trades. One of my mentors stated the following: figure out who you need to become to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. If you become that person, the results will follow. I have also read The Best Traders Are Unemotional in Their Trading. With this in mind, I have the following questions for you, the community's mentor. What was your experience going through this process from newbie to rockstar? With that question, the first thing I'd almost like to say is that very few people know who are successful at a particular endeavor actually remember what they've gone through in order to get there. I know that seems kind of odd, but I can kind of relate this to my daughter, who she ended up going into the Air Force, and she went through boot camp and so forth. And as she was going through it, me as an observer, I saw all the stuff she went through and all the things that she had to endure and all this other stuff. If I go back and ask her about boot camp, she hardly remembers anything. I mean, she'd have to really think about it to even do that. And I think if you think of some of the other things you've done in the past, you might remember a couple of things about them, but by and large, you would have forgot a lot about the processes. And I think that's kind of the case here. So I'm just saying this is a challenging question to answer, but I mean, I'll give a go at it. When I first started trading, I didn't know anything about trading. I started I think InvestTools was my first experience with trading, and I learned what a stock was. I learned their how to read charts, their 3-arrow system, and all that other stuff. And I started trading, and yeah, I think I was probably like a lot of people, where you come in, you first try directional trading, buying stocks, and your success is generally going to be hit and miss. And you're going to experience this thing where at some point you're going to get disappointed, you're going to get frustrated, and a lot of times from that point, a lot of people try to go shorter term with their trades. And usually, or the reality of trading, the shorter term you go, the less consistent you tend to be, or I should say, the harder it is to make money, the shorter the term. But people tend to gravitate towards that direction because they have a lack of confidence. And if you have a lack of confidence, what you're looking for is short-term results, and you get short-term results through short-term trading. Now, you might not like those results, but at least you get the feedback, and that's the way people tend to go. When that doesn't work out for them, a lot of times they're going to go into options trading. And they say, hey, you're not making money because you're having a hard time choosing direction with the stock. Why don't you try an option and see if you can leverage that thing? And that typically doesn't work out any better or works out worse. And then people who continue to go challenges, sometimes they go into the path of these complex option spreads that we're doing, which you do win more often, but ultimately you end up with the same types of challenges where you're still going to have your losses, and you're still going to have the stresses, and you're still going to have to watch the market. There's just a lot of similarities there, but it's just grass is always greener on the other side. And I went through that same process as well, where I'm always looking for the next thing, And then even when you get into the type of trading we're doing, you have 42,000 different ways to trade this way as well. And I think I started making progress when I decided that I'm just going to stick with one thing. Now, that thing could have been directional trading stocks. That thing could have been short-term, futures trading. It could have been directional options trading. My thing I decided to stick with just happened to be this type of trading. And through the process of deciding that I was going to have one type of trading, and I was going to work on that type of trading until I made money. And that is something called constraint. because the reality is there's always something greener on the other side. You always have the ability to try something else. You always have somebody telling you that they've had success in the last 6 months or whatever doing a certain type of strategy. And it's so tempting to just see that shiny object and just go ahead and try it, rather than sitting down and deciding that, hey, I am going to work through this regardless of what happens, and I'm going to do it until it works for me. And the reality is you can make money with any of these kinds of trading. And when you look at all the different traders with all the different trading styles, when you look at the traders that make money, the traders make money because they decided what they were going to do, and they decided to do it until it worked out in the way they wanted it to work out for them. I've never seen anybody who's, other than from a temporary success standpoint, I've never seen anybody be successful trying one trade after the other, hoping that it works out, and then going on to the next thing as soon as they have problems with it. That just doesn't work. And that is when I started becoming successful in this. And by making those observations and making things work for me, that's how you become a great trader. And this is what I encourage other people to do. And that is what I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to see in the next Trading Performance podcast, please list that in the comments and I'll personally answer your questions and comments for you. Also, I'd love to encourage you to come on over to LockInYourSuccess.com. That's LOCKE in yoursuccess.com, and check out our Trading Performance and Pro memberships, where you can find the tools you need to become a much more effective trader, regardless of the type of trading you do. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the next Trading Performance podcast.